Well, here we are, back live for a change. And you see I have a chair there. We'll wait for everybody to get on board here. So last live class before I head off to Europe, and then one class when I get back in October. And then the next one will be, we're zipping along to November. So happy that you got here this morning. I'll be meeting with another one of our group individually to help her sort through some of the yoga poses that may not be very good for her back, since I have issues with my back. But that's why I have the chair today. So the chair is just going to be an option. So I will, I'm big on options. So I will show how to do a flow with the use of a chair that prohibits you from having to access the floor, welcome, without having to go down to the mat if you don't want to because of a knee or a back or a wrist or a shoulder or one of those things. So I think yoga should always come to you where you are. You shouldn't have to go find it and fit into it. So waiting's an option. We don't do all the poses. Today we're going to focus a lot on standing balance poses as well as giving you that information on optional access to the floor or the mat. So a lot of standing balance, and that actually is core work. So balance, in my estimation, emanates from the core. So we want to center ourselves, just getting the right main focus for our practice, not our perfect, because we can be carrying things that need to be done into our practice or holding on to stuff that's already happened. And a practice should just be being in the moment, being attentive to yourself, being aware of yourself, not worrying about later today, not worrying about yesterday, just being present. So let's come, and you can sit on your mat any way that you want. I've got my blankie over there. You can sit in a chair if you'd rather. Again, you get to be you. So let me just pop in and see. Okay, looks like everybody's here. Good to see you. Some of you are off the boat. Some of you are not doing a urban walk. So that sounded fun. All right. So I am able to access the floor. I'm very thankful that I can. Do you feel that fall is in the air? I do feel that fall is in the air. Pacific Northwest is kind of sunny today. We had a bit of sprinkle, was that yesterday? So I am sitting Sukhasana. You can sit on a block, you can sit on your knees or in the chair. As we come to sit, let's address our bandhas, Mula Bandha, that anchor for our pelvis, but also spiritually connecting into the earth. The lower belly, that zipper motion, the action of Uddiyana, drawing inward. The mindfulness of your spine. So I have seen my spine in x-rays and MRIs, and I know that there are vertebrae and discs and all the canal of the spinal cord. And I know that as gravity weighs on us, it causes shifting and changes in our spine, as well as in active life. So when we sit, let's sit a little lighter so that our vertebra and disc have a little more space in which to reside. And then the crown of the head will lift up. If you feel like you'd like to hold on to your legs and lean back, that would give a little support to the lumbar. If you'd like to sit mindfully, palms up with a yoga mudra gesture, you can do that. Kind of relax those shoulders, draw them up, and then let them just sink down. Your head is on straight, so I'm not bowing my head. I'm lifting the crown of the head towards sky. So I feel like I'm really occupying a lot of vertical space. Your eyes can be open, lowered, or closed. And now we breathe. Can you feel your body moving? Of course you can. Can you make it expand more as you breathe in? Can you make it contract tighter as you breathe out, tightening the abdominal wall? So go ahead and flutter your eyes open if you did choose to close them. And we're going to do some ha-ha breathing. Did you ever play that game where you would lay your head on somebody's tummy and they'd lay their head on somebody's tummy and so forth and so forth? And the first person went, ha. And then that person, the next person who had their head on that person's tummy went, ha ha. And then ha ha ha. And then ha 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 ha. And it's hard to control your ha-has. This reminds me of that. This is just a ha, not a ha, but just a ha. And you can put your hand on that belly, similar to a fire breath, but not as active. So if you feel that your belly is moving, you don't have to touch it. See if you can give it a try. It might seem a little silly, but silly is good. Come to a natural breath. Just notice what that ha-ha did for us. Sometimes it clears cobwebs. You might be inclined to want to cough or sputter that thing. Sometimes it gets you a little lightheaded because you maybe sucked up a little more air or oxygen than normal. So now let's move into a little bit of our extremities. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana action, lifted spine, lifted heart, arms release to the sides. I favor a thumbs up, but however you want to put your arms. So now I'm reaching horizontally through my space as well as my spine, going vertically up through my space. And this requires minimal effort, but an effort nonetheless. So I'm not just hanging on my bones here. So I'm just going to move the hands behind my head and then back out. Now, as you do this, for some people, maybe not you, not me, but maybe for some people, in order to get it behind the head, their head health feels like it has to go forward. What that tells me is that your arms are a little forward of the body, and that in order to get your hands behind, they have to move your head forward. So check that your arms are completely to the side, and maybe you don't even have this range of motion. That's okay with me. Keep your chin up. And this time you can stack the hands, or if you're comfortable, lacing the fingers and resting the hands behind the head so that you can put the head back into the hands, almost pushing the head into the hands. Notice how that engages your abdominal wall, that pressure of your head into your hands. Your elbows are natural. Don't feel like they have to be out to the side. When the head goes into the hands, the elbows slightly move forward, relaxing through the shoulders. And you must breathe. We must breathe. As I stop pushing with my head, I'll relax my arms back down. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. So I was pushing my head into my hands. This time I'm going to push my hands into my head, and my head is going to not let that happen. So lifting nice and tall, Mula Bandha, action of Uddiyana, spine lifted, bringing those hands once more behind the head, stacking or lacing. So hold your head up straight. Now push gently, but firmly with the hands against the head. Because if you didn't hold yourself, you'd go forward. So really feel that resistance, and you must breathe. This is isometric, so you must breathe. Strengthening through our neck, and slowly release. Now you may want to hold on, you may want to change your legs, you can reposition yourself. So I'm going to chat a little bit, and I want you to just move your head from side to side. So I'm going to give you another thing that you can do on your own. We don't have to do it today, but you know, next time you're next to a wall doing nothing, go back with your head on the wall and just your head on the wall and step your feet out. I don't know, a foot and a half. So your shoulders, your back, your twists are not touching, just your head is on the wall. You're kind of on this plank, and your hands can just fold in front of you. And you just stay there and you breathe, not looking up, not looking down. Now let your head tip from side to side. This is another way to strengthen your neck. So when you come out of that plank against the wall with your head on the wall, rather than pulling your head to go off the wall, step your feet back and be a little more gentle. Sometimes people can get a little vertigo, so you're not looking up when you put your back of your head on the wall. Ah, how's your shoulders today? Now I'm going to nod the chin and lift the chest. So as I nod the chin and then lift the chest. I'm not saying you can't look up, I'm just choosing not to. And you're paying attention. This could all just be absolutely fine, but you know, some days there's something. And you wouldn't have known there was something if you didn't stop and pay attention. And now leave your head straight. So I'm going to do a rotation. My pelvis or my lower back stays still. Just a reminder that our upper back is, upper spine is flexibility. And then our pelvis is stability. And then our knees, flexibility. And the ankles, flexibility. And so you have to have flexibility through the shoulders, stability through your elbows, flexibility through your wrist. And I mention that because we're going to be stabilizing with our pelvis. We often do this standing. And I'm going to float the right arm back behind me. If you're on something, you can put it on that something or on the floor. And then the other hand just comes across. So this is rotation. And we're making it minimal for those of you who can do more safely. Remember, before you twist, you always lift nice and tall. And maybe you just look your head, because we need to have some flexibility to do things like this in life. You know, you're sitting there and you're reaching over, or something's in the back seat of the car and you reach back. So a certain amount of range of motion or flexibility. But my pelvis is stable, so I'm not twisting in my spine. I'm moving in my thoracic region. Returning center, giving a beat, setting up on the other side, being mindful to lift the spine and maybe look a little further or not. Again, we're just exploring. And returning center. So now I'm going to sit back, bring my feet together and my knees up. I could stay on the blanket or I could go off. And maybe I let one leg drop and then the other leg, and then one leg up and the other leg. Maybe that feels a little safer in how much. So now I'm lowering and lowering and assessing. Does this feel appropriate? Is this inappropriate? Sometimes you'll feel it in the front of your shoulders, sometimes through the hips, And just be careful if you feel too much in the back. Okay, stay leaning on your hands. Bring the bottom of the feet together, bottom of the feet together. Bandha Konasana, let your knees fall out. Aren't you impressed how far your legs go out because you're leaning back on your hands? And then lift up the chest as if there were a string attached to your chest and it's lifting it up. So I'm feeling rather light on my spine. I've put a bit of a curve, not a bend. So I'm not bending with any pressure. I'm lifting the gravitational pull off of my spine. And my shoulders are back. So let me show you from the side how this could look different and how I would think it would be safer for you. So here was me on my hands, here's me with my knees, and here's me just kind of hanging on my bones. This is what I was asking for. The lift of the chest begins that gentle curve, but there's no load in my lumbar. So I know for some there's narrowing in the spine, so this isn't going to narrow it anymore. You're going to keep that space in here. And as you bring your knees up, you'll walk your spine up nice and tall and extend your legs forward. You can continue to sit on something or not. Hands can be behind, by your side, or on your lap, depending on how your back wants support or not. Now I'm looking at my phalanges, my feet, so I'm going to do some mobility through my ankles by bringing my toes back and stretching them forward. Cramping can be a problem. Aside from addressing your hydration and magnesium and potassium, you don't have to point the toes. You could just push with the ball of your foot. Okay, ankle circles. So I'm going to grab hold of one leg, zip my zipper. I'll lean back a little, thank you very much, and then circle. Relax your neck and shoulders. And then go ahead, switch to the other leg. So we'll be doing some balancing on the balls of our feet today. And now I'm going to round my spine. So back to Bandha Konasana. Remember that lumbar needs to be safeguarded. I don't care whether you feel an issue or not. It's always prudent. So grab hold of your shins or your ankles and now rock until you feel that you're lifted. So you're rather neutral. Your spine has that low back curve addressed with Uddiyana action, bringing the heart forward by using your hands. So you may just go a little bit or you may need to go further. The fact that you can hinge forward from the hip helps that low back not dump so that you end up doing this and that you end up doing a stretch through the thoracic with a safeguard to the lumbar. So I've hinged forward. I'm going to bow my head and look toward my feet. And then some of you may just keep on, keep it on. So be mindful in your release. So we know this is calming to our nervous system. That's always good to have a nice parasympathetic nervous system activation. Now rolling mindfully back up, so you address from the front of your core as your back of your core helps to put you back upright. Okay, so let's lean on one hip. I'll be sitting on what looks like your right hip, and again, blanket, no blanket. I'm just going to make some circles with my hip joint. So I can rest on my palm. If that doesn't work, you can be on knuckles. You could even go down to your elbow. You could get over and lean on the chair. So we just want to lean over so we have the freedom of this bent knee so that it goes forward. So bring it forward, lift it upward and backwards. Be careful of anything that might be behind you. Nobody wants to stub their toe. So my knee, if it had a pen on it, would be drawing, I don't know, I'm thinking more of an oblong or an oval. not a circle. Because it's going forward and it's going backwards and downward and upward. Okay, let's rest a minute. A little more than you expected. Now I'm going to do the same thing going back. So engage through your core, lift the top leg, push the foot back, raise the knee up and bring it forward. Now I sometimes do this on the hands and knees, and I'm demonstrating this variation, which is kind of cool, so that if I ever do go back and do this on the hands and knees, you have an option. Because it's just about the mobility of your hip joint. Because the hips, mobility. All right, let's hold those legs down and in some fashion get to the other side. I'm warming up. All right, so I'm leaning. I could be on my elbow. This could be a little better for you. This is a little more challenging up here. And yes, because we have the chair, you could put your arm on the chair. So you just do what you want. This one, the knee goes forward, leg goes up and down behind. So ask yourself if you're having difficulty getting the leg behind you without the body wanting to go forward to assist you. Can you make that hip move, the leg behind, by using your posterior chain, your glutes, your backside muscles? Okay, let's pause right here, rest the leg, take a breath. Reactivate your bandhas, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana action. Now make the leg go back first, raise the knee up, bring the knee down. Remember, anything we do today should not hurt, but sometimes it feels a little uncomfortable. It's always good to have a little discomfort to let us know that we're using our bodies to enhance it, not to damage it. Are you breathing? And we're going to move to child's pose. So if you have a blanket that you feel is going to serve your knees, you can come over onto the blanket. If you're kind of done with the blanket, we're done for a while, you could scoot it off. Options for child's pose. Puppy dog for anybody who has a knee issue and doesn't want to compress. Arms extended forward if your body just clamors for some stretching. Hands under your forehead, hands in prayer behind your head, and even hands back behind you. So wherever you want your hands, that's up to you. Maybe a good time to set some intentions as we move forward. Okay, get those hands underneath you. As you load into the hands, if those aren't happening for you today, knuckles with thumbs forward, not too close. So I was subbing last Monday with a large group of people, and one woman just had her arms very narrow, and I proposed that she move them a little under or outside her shoulder, which would give her more mobility for chaturangas or even more stability for balancing. But okay, so shoulders over my hands, kind of, sort of, knees under my hips. I'm going to rock back and forth. I don't have to go all the way to my heels if my knees don't like that. So I should be getting some wrist flexion, some arm strengthening. And do you feel your core when you go forward so you don't fall on your face? So next time you rock forward, let's hold that forward and breathe. And release, back, rest, and breathe. Take a little pressure off those hands. Come back to all fours, and we're going to rock side to side. So shift your weight entirely onto one side, back center. So watch out for dropping the head. So my head is not looking down. I always tend to focus on the edge of my mat. If I'm not looking at you and you're not looking at me. Okay, next time stay on one side, won't matter which one. And breathe. All right, on over to the other side and stay. And here you may notice that one arm is just okay to do this and the other one maybe not so much. Things we're learning about ourselves. And come back center. So I'm going to come up on my knees. I know that's not something everyone can do. And I'm going to turn around because I'm going to give you the option with the chair. So if you had blocks and not a chair, what you may want to do as we move into our iliopsoas, our hip flexors, is you're going to take one leg forward. We're going to do both. So you just pick the one that you want. And you engage your core so that you pick that leg up and set it out. Because if you're not doing it mindfully, it could be just kind of a throw it out there. So be very mindful. Try and do this as if everybody were watching you when you wanted to do this carefully. So if I were using blocks, setting my foot forward, bringing my hands down onto the blocks, turning my back toe under, getting off my knee, and then resetting it if it can take that pressure. I just don't want to roll over my kneecap. For those of us who have a chair, the seat facing you, you're going to lean into that, pick up your foot, set it a little under the chair, go forward. Now you can use the hands or maybe for some the elbow. Turn the back toe under, get up, and then come back down. So I'm wondering if the light, and then you just hold there. I'm wondering if the light is a bit much. Didn't know the sun was going to be shining so much. Maybe I'll be easier to see. What do you think? Better? All right, so where I left you was here, yes? So the chair is just an option. It's a prop that I'm using. You can use a prop of blocks, and if you just happen to be somewhere and had neither one, you can put your hands on the floor. So just wherever it feels good, all we want to do is open the front of our hips. Maybe you can start looking a little this way and a little that way. Doesn't have to be a big twist, just look behind you. Okay, engage through your core, address your bandhas, slowly back yourself up. Back yourself if you're on blocks, or back yourself up here. Once you let go, again, bring the front leg back with control and place the other foot forward with control. And as you lean forward, I don't want to overdo the knee, so as soon as my hands can support me, get off that back knee and then reset it down again. So you notice my front knee is not shooting out over. I'm not saying it's bad, but you tell me, doesn't that seem like a lot of pressure on the knee? And it takes away from the hip flexor. So I need to have my legs separated. If you want to do the split, same thing. So in order to get to the front of this side, this knee can't be pressing out. And then maybe you look a little over one side and notice how that feels. Same thing the other side. Do it with your breath. Front of our body needs to be stretched, back of our body needs to be strengthened. Oh, engage through your core, slowly back up. Return under your control, back to both knees. Thumbs on the small of the back. For those of you who say, not going to do this on my knees, go ahead, stand up, separate your feet. So if you don't want to compromise your back, traditionally in yoga, we leave the lower spine here and we lift the upper back. For some people that can be problematic, so you may be better letting the hips go forward to create the curve and then lift the chest. So whichever one feels best, just know that you're making a conscious choice of either stabilizing the pelvis and lifting the chest for extension, as small as it may be, or you're helping yourself by letting the hips go forward, and then you could do that that would be like this, but this. There you go. And return center. Let's do a little cat and cow options. If you're already standing, you can put your hands on the chair or return to the floor and do some cats and cows. So if you were standing, you could put it here and do cats and cows. There are no rules that says you have to be on your hands and knees. Okay, on your own terms and with the awareness of your blood pressure, go ahead, stand yourself up, and we'll leave the chair off to one side, should you have one. And let's get a little bit with our feet. So I have carpet and a mat, so it's kind of soft, good in one regard, but hard for balancing. So if you prefer a more solid surface and you have tile or a wood floor, you can step up onto it. So first we're just going to stand in Tadasana and understand the wonders of Tadasana, rooting the feet, engaging your legs, whether that's an inward pull or an outward pull, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana action. And when I squeeze my belly, I'm not squeezing my tush. So leaving my natural curve in my spine, lifting the ribs, lifting the chest, rather than throwing the shoulders back. Shoulders should be sitting right above your hands. So if you notice your hands are in front of your legs, bring them. If you notice they're behind, you've artificially pulled yourself out of alignment. So usually the hands by your side. And I always like engagement. So fingers reaching actively to the earth. Feel the spine separate, much like we did when we sat. And then gaze outward with the crown of the head lifting upward. And just take in how your body says, well, this is good. It's hard to maintain it because you're not passive. You're not hanging on your bones. You're very dynamically standing, engaging your bandhas, squeezing your muscles, mindful of your alignment. So now we change this stability of being very firm and rooted. So more parts are having to take over so we can have mobility through our ankles is where we're working. So as you see me from the side, I'm going to lift up one heel and then put it down and the other heel. Now you may not be aware that you're doing a shift from one foot, I'm exaggerating, or even letting one hip go. So you want to remain in that Tadasana. The only difference is that you put weight on one foot so that the other heel could lift. Pressing through the pads of your feet, each toe gets a little bit of your weight. And you're breathing, right? And not hard, but to be mindful and present. Okay, scoot your feet together, together, together. Imagine the ankles are tied together so that when you rise on the ball of your feet, they won't separate like that. They'll stay together. You do not have to lift high. You could do like a 1-inch heel, or you could wear the high stilettos. Let's place the hands on our sides because We're going to stabilize our pelvis. Are you hearing these terms a lot today? And then use mobility to turn yourself. So let's stay grounded and see how easy it is while you're standing, not letting the hips go necessarily, lifting the spine and just turning. I don't turn my body, I'm turning my head, but my head will only go so far. So maybe I want to turn a little bit of my shoulders and I look behind. Come back center. Maybe you felt a little wobbly. Okay, establish the elements of mountain pose and then begin looking the other way and then maybe turning just the upper body. And now let's take the hips involved. So now when my hips go, you feel the feet kind of shift, one to the inside, one to the outside. So now as my hips turn, I can still rotate, but I've allowed my hips to be part of my spine. Maybe that's a better feel for you. We're figuring it out. Lift nice and tall. Let your hips, shoulders, and head look the other way. So you have just now figured out which way might be best for me. Just the head, holding the hips still, or turning the hips as well. Okay, holding those feet together. Bandhas. Now I want you to squeeze your bums for this one and then raise the heels. So my heels are lifted just a little bit. If it happens as you're up on your toes that this happens, that's okay. Just come back, get everything together again, squeeze and then lift and recapture your balance. Think crown of the head lifting toward the sky and breathe. Before landing, think up through the crown of the head as you slowly lower your feet back down. Let's bring the arms down for a real sense of calm. I'm going to introduce that turn. It is an option. If you felt that standing up with your feet looking forward was challenge enough, repeat that. So I have my hands. I'm squeezing everything that I can find. I'm remembering to breathe. I'm going to gently raise my heels, decide how high I want to be. Hold my ankles together, she said. And then if you're interested in slowly turning, are you breathing? Coming back center, before you come down, think up and then come down. Go ahead, relax your arms. So you know what, your body gets better and better doing this. So onto the other side, if you're choosing to turn or not, just go up on your toes. Hands at your hips, squeeze and rise. Now keep breathing, and if you're going to turn, begin that turn. Slowly return back to the center. Again, think up through the crown of the head and then lower the heels, separate the feet, return to Tadasana. Do you kind of feel that melting sensation? It's good. So I could use the back of the chair, a wall, but we don't always have to. By which I mean as I turn, one foot is going to face, the other foot will go back. So my feet are parallel, about hip distance. I bend the front knee, hold the back heel down, and begin leaning forward. And I do this to make my calf, my Achilles tendon open. Now, if I wanted more core challenge, I would let my arms go forward of the body. If you do it slowly, you begin to feel the load happen into your back. If you said, you know, my back's not feeling this, maybe your arms to the side to give a little more balance, And if you needed a little more support, but a challenge also for balance, grab the hands, bind them together, and open your chest. The back heel is down, the front knee is bent, the feet are parallel. And you breathe. If you're not feeling the calf, it could be that your back foot has turned open a little bit. Make sure the feet are pointing the same direction as you. Release your arms, come back center, and we'll do the other side, or if you're already facing me, just do the other foot forward. So you have your feet parallel. You bend the front knee, holding the back heel down like you're trying to walk forward, but your back foot is attached. And again, for more core work, just the load of your arms forward. If that begins to feel like, well, that's not what I want to do, you do this or you do this. The hands behind is kind of freaky because, you know, anytime you feel like you're a little wobbly, you want to have your hands in front of you to stop you from falling on your face. So keep pressing down with the heel. This is where being on carpet or on your mat can think of making an impression. As you return the hands, go ahead and return yourself and just shake things out for a little bit. So I'd like to do a little bit for hamstrings. If you're not using a chair, you might want your blocks, but if you don't have blocks, you still have your legs. We're gonna go back to that position we just did for the calf, but with a little more attention and love for the back of our legs. So I'm gonna come to the chair. One foot is forward, one foot is back. I'm about, let's see, if I put my back foot toe at the heel of my front foot, and then move the toe of the back foot to where the heel was, that's a pretty good distance. That's how I would measure it. So my hands are on my hips to remind me my chest and hips are like headlights, and as I hinge or tip forward, they point down because I will tell you they're going to want to turn to make this easier. It's the back of the front leg that's really going to yell at you. So if you have the chair, feel free to turn it around so you can use the back, or get a little closer so that as you go forward, you can put your hands on the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. If you're using blocks, that tells me you're able to go further forward. We're avoiding that roundedness like we did in our prep move. So you can use the chair, the blocks, or your thighs. So bandhas and breath. Inhale, lift up your heart. Exhale, push down on the back heel as you begin to lean forward. So you might want to put both hands on the front leg as the heart continues to lean forward, and you address your hips. At some point, the back of the front leg will start telling you it's time to stop. In which case you can, if you have a chair, shift to the chair. If you have blocks, shift to the blocks. If you've come so far down because your hamstrings allow, maybe the hands come to the floor. It matters not, other than your back is not rounded and you're looking outward, not downward towards your feet. So you want to feel the back of the front leg in not a painful way, but a mindful way. Yes, it's the pyramid pose, but we're being supported today. Now we're coming back up. So again, bandhas, breath, squeezing muscles, walking yourself back up until you come to the top. Now the other part of the pyramid pose is extension. So for those who don't do extension, you just lift the chest. For those who do extension, you lift the chest and you lean back. Your thumbs can be here, your hands can be here, or you can grab at the elbows. whatever makes sense to you. So I'm going to modify myself. As you return to upright, release the arms and step your feet back. So again, same thing other side. Chair, blocks, floor. I don't know, maybe I have an ottoman there. I also have the fireplace. So whatever you can use that allows you not to change this forward fold so you feel the hamstring. So position your feet thus. All the toes are facing the same way as the chest and the hips. Squeeze your bandhas. Begin the chest leading forward. Transition the hands, if all you had were your body, to your leg. Monitor that that back hip, that back leg is not opening up. If appropriate, continue. When the back of the front leg begins to speak to you, listen. It may be willing to go a little bit further in a little bit, but give it some time. One more breath. Check in with bandhas, activate your muscles, slowly rise up, addressing blood pressure, transition with support the entire way up. Once at the top, here, here, or here, and then lifting the chest. So you can modify as I'm showing, or you can do more back extension if that's appropriate. Slowly right yourself, release your arms and step together and do the hokey pokey and shake it all about. Okay, so let's go through the flow and demonstrate how you can use a chair seat to accommodate for any, I don't know, wrist, knee, or back issues that would preclude you from being able to do a traditional mat class. Now, for those of you who say, I don't have any issues, and I'm very thankful that I don't have any issues, then go ahead and do everything on the mat as you would normally do. It's just good to have some options. So we stand at the end of our mat in Tadasana. So the first breath is an arms lifting. That's all good. Now I'm going to go to a chair pose, so as my hips go back. Now know that if the arms are forward as you sit, your back may not like the arms, so you may want to bring the hands into the heart, or you may want to put the hands down on your thighs. And if your knees are not happy about this, maybe you don't go as deep. So there are variations in the chair pose. Feel that you have equal weight on each foot and not more weight in the front or the back, but between the two. I always pretend I have something squeezing between my legs, activating my core a little more. Now in my fold, I will either come with my hands to the floor by my feet or on the chair seat in front of me. So I put the hands down either onto the mat or onto the chair, drop my head, look through my legs. Your hands could be on the floor. So the hamstrings should be kind of willing for this. From here, I drop the hips and lift the chest, so hands can be on the seat of the chair, down on the floor. And now I'm going to step into a plank. So if your hands are down, walk yourself back into a plank. If your hands are on the chair and you can't bear weight onto hands, you can come to the forearms and step yourself back. So here's an option. Here is an option. Everybody has an option to be in a plank. Even if you were on the chair and you thought this was a bit much, you could do modified plank from here. So, something for everyone. Now here you need to decide whether you want to come down from the plank on the mat to your belly, or if you want to just lower yourself through your shoulders, not letting the hips lead the way, so that your chest comes down and your hips while on the chair. If you were up on your hands, and I probably shouldn't have a cushion on this seat, I come down here. Then we do a little lift. Then we go back down. Then we all lift the hips, push back, come to your plank and right on into your downward dog and adjust the feet. So we know on the mat when we go down chest and hips. Then we do a little baby cobra, cobra or up dog, come back down. Then we lift the hips, the chest, plank, and then downward dog. I did the same thing from the chair, but maybe you didn't get to see. Raise your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Now you walk, step, or jump to the front of your mat. Release the arms and come back to your chair pose, acclimating for your blood pressure. Burst from the earth, lift to the sky. Open the arms, and once more, put the hands on the floor or onto the chair. Bow over. Step back into your plank. So you're on the floor, you can be on the knees or the toes. So you go down to the mat. If you're in the chair, you just bend the elbows a little. Then you lift the chest a little. Go back down. Everybody lift the hips, push back into your plank, and right on into your downward dog. So let's go to a three-legged dog, lifting the right leg. Setting it down. Lifting the left leg. Setting it down. Raising your heels, bending your knees, sitting back, looking forward. Walk, step, or jump. Sit into a chair pose. Remember the options. Coming all the way up. Inhale. Exhale. Go down and touch the earth. Forward fold. Step back to a plank. Down to the mat or down toward the chair seat. Little bit up, little bit down. Hips up, push up into your plank position, all the way to the downward dog. Raise the right leg, bend the right knee, look forward, swing and step your foot forward. From the chair, raise your leg, bend the knee, step forward. Stay on the ball of the foot. For those on the mat, just carry on into crescent pose. For those of us using the chair, notice my foot went under the chair, my knee is at the seat of the chair. It's a great marker. When ready, stand up. Again, more for the back, more for the hips, more for the balance. And the back leg, squeeze it straight. Don't let that back knee bend. Squeeze it straight, feels completely different. Bring your right hand forward over your right knee. Bring the left arm back and drop your left heel. Let the body keep turning to the long end of the mat. We are in Warrior Two, correct? Reach across, horizontal space. And leave the back heel down, bring the back arm around in front. Now if your back foot's turned too far out, you're not going to get that left hip forward. So you bring the left arm around and your hips forward for warrior one. If you're rolling into the arch of the foot, roll out onto that pinky toe side. Back to the crescent pose. Back to the downward dog, onto the mat or with your chair, and breathe. Raise the left leg, bend the left knee, look forward, step, raise the back heel as we go to the crescent pose. Hands could be on the floor. When ready, stand up, arms where you like them to be. The important thing is this back leg. The left arm goes forward. The right heel drops down. You feel your body wanting to turn. Let the body turn so the right arm can go back, not by itself, but with the help of the torso. Gazing at your left arm, looking forward, Virabhadrasana 2. Now that back leg is already set up so I can do warrior one or warrior two without a big adjustment. Slowly begin bringing the right arm forward. If you can't get this hip around, you're going to either have to spin the hip out more until you end up in warrior one, where your chest and your hips, very much like the pyramid pose, are facing the same direction. Now here's the thing, if you have a chair here, you might notice that your knee comes back. Keep it at the chair. Back to crescent pose, back to downward dog. Back to plank. Now, if you're on the floor, come down to child's pose. If you're choosing a chair, come down and you can rest in child's pose on the chair or the floor. Move to your downward dog, wherever that is, from the mat, from the chair. Raise your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Walk your feet, step your feet, or jump. Squeeze the legs, mindful of blood pressure as the arms come up. This time, bring the hands into your heart. Okay, we're going to use the long end of the mat. And this is where I would have blocks, but you can do the same thing with the chair if you know you're very tight in the hamstrings. So if I move my chair over here, I won't leave it here very long because you won't be able to see that well. So when I go forward with my feet, as long as my arms are, and when I go forward, I can rest on the chair this way. If I felt I could do more, now you won't be able to see because chair's in the way. Now I'm going here. Now I can leave my head on the chair as my hands reach for the floor. So here's what it looks like side view. If you wanted to play with the chair, which you don't have to, my feet are apart. I go forward. I put my hands on the chair, lean into my toes rather than back because I've got support. I've got really good support. If things were going really well, I might consider my head on the chair and then my hands. And the head is giving me really good support as I move into my forward fold. Otherwise, you've got blocks. Otherwise, you do the floor. So remember how far apart your legs go. Arms out and down. Thumbs at the small of the back. Lift your chest and then slide forward. So if you're not using anything, you use your hands on your legs. Stop when you feel the back of legs pull or continue on down using the chair if need be. I don't know what. So we're in that forward fold. Lean into your toes, make sure the feet are parallel. Now you imagine that giant pillow between the legs as you remove the hands to the small of the back, squeeze the legs, come all the way up. Pause here. Now, if you're using the chair, you've got a good support for this next one. So lift the chest, lean forward as we go to the inner thigh. Either put the hands on the seat of the chair or both hands on your right leg. We've done this one before. I'm just giving with the chair an option. So instead of being here, if I were using the chair, I bend. Now I've got this chair to lean on. And it really takes a lot of load off of the back, should you need that. The idea is that we feel the inside of that straight leg, walking yourself over to the other side. So if you can access the floor, you're good. Otherwise, you're on the chair and you simply shift onto that left leg. Or if you were here, you go here. Some days everything seems like it's a breeze, and other days it's like, Coming back center, hands to your thighs or on the chair, tighten the belly. Mindfully bring yourself up so we can do the pigeon pose. One I rarely do, and it's only an option. I will show with the chair, which may be useful if you're very good at the pigeon pose. It's like another step up because you can drop your hip even lower. You can use a blanket, which really helps you get the proper alignment. You can forego the pigeon pose and do the figure 4 on your back. That's always safe for your back. It still gets into your hips and a bit of your glutes. So let me explain. If I'm using the chair, I'm going to approach it from the seat side and I will hold on to the back. But remember, this is a chair. You can knock it over. When I do pigeon pose or even the figure 4, I'm still correcting people who are on their backs doing figure 4 with their knee too far forward. They know that I know their knee can go further out because when I ask them to push their knee out, it moves a lot. So you want, the lineup is ankle on the knee or on the chair, lined up. Here's my knee and here's my foot. I don't have my foot back here with my knee out here, and that's what often happens in traditional pigeon pose. Let me show you the options. You're welcome to just go ahead without me. So here's me approaching. I hold the back of the chair. I put my knee on one side and my foot on the other side. So I have a knee on one side and the foot on the other side. Then I wiggle, 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 so I'm sitting off the chair and I can hold on to the back of the chair, or maybe I can lean into it as if I were laying down on the floor. Then I push up and get out. Let me show you, if you had a blanket or a wadded up towel that can go under your hip, you sit on that towel and make your knee and foot be across from each other. Then lean forward to get that back leg turned down. Then come back up. So here's my knee down, here are my hips forward, kind of a thing today. Here's my knee and ankle lined up adjacent to one another. And then if I wanted to lengthen myself forward, I would. And of course, the good old pretzel pose from the back. This, push that knee away, pull that foot in. So everybody should find a position, and maybe today you're trying a different position. Maybe you have the chair. Maybe you would like to try the chair. Maybe you already know the pigeon pose. I haven't done this one in the chair for a while. Okay, on your own terms, let's get to the other leg. Those of us in the chair are going to bear weight into our hands so we can get our hips up, drag that leg off. And then again, careful because it's a chair, get up and drape, knee on one side, foot on the other side, wiggle your foot back. Hips are forward, chest are forward. Then maybe you lean forward. Maybe you have that alignment where you shove a little towel under your hip if you're on the mat in the traditional pigeon pose. Maybe you're good with figure 4. Maybe improving that a little bit by adjusting the alignment of knees. Here's if I took a little wad of something and put it under the hip of the bent knee so that I can get the alignment and then going forward. Nothing should hurt, but you can soften around some of the resistance. Rather than leaning off to one side, make sure you're equal. That's why you put a little prop underneath, could be a block. Those are so hard though. Okay, we have a couple more to do. So come out of your pigeon pose variation and let me show you the first one. So the first one is the front side of the core. And you can do it from the ground. It's the traditional boat pose, but there also is one from the chair, should you choose not to do the floor. So remember the boat or the dinghy as you sit, holding behind the thighs, zipping Mula Bandha and Uddiyana action, and leaning back until your arms are straight. Picking up a leg, and maybe you continue to hold on, maybe you let go, maybe you let the legs go up. But here's one from the chair. You sit at the edge of the chair because you are going to lean back. You'll not straighten the legs. This will just be the dinghy. So holding the chair, keeping your chest lifted, you lean back and pick up one leg. So the chair's there, but I'm not, I'm just touching it. Then I pick up the other leg. Then I can bring my arms out. I'm not going to straighten those legs out unless I'm holding the chair, so I'll just be here. So you have a couple of options. Zipping your zipper. And then when you're done, you either cross the legs if you're doing the boat pose and just relax, or if you're in the chair, you come forward and relax. So let's go to the boat, the dinghy. And if you do Pilates, this is the ultimate end of the teaser move. So as you rise, don't forget to zip your zipper. So if you're on the chair, you pretty much do the same thing. You lean back. You don't even have to touch the chair back. Pick up a leg, then pick up the other leg. You can continue holding on until you feel like you have good form. You can lift one or both arms out in front as you would wish. If you're on the floor, traditional boat pose would be this, or you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this. So many options. And as you recover, you may be sitting and you just want to relax. Or you're sitting at the chair and relaxing forward. So let's move on to the last one. We all should be on our mats for this one. Feel free to give yourself a little pillow if you want. You want your feet elevated if possible. So this one is straight leg bridge pose. You could do a wall, you could put your feet up on the wall. We're going to elevate the hips and lower the hips. If you don't have a wall or a chair and you just want to do bridge pose, you know bridge pose. Knees are bent, feet are parallel. For those of us choosing the chair, welcome to my therapy. So my feet are thus at the edge of the chair, Now the arms will be an option if you need that extra support because you have recovery to do in your back, use the arms. Otherwise they'll hover. They don't need to be up here. They just should not be adding extra support. Nod the chin. On your breath in, you're down. On your breath out, you elevate the hips. And then breathe in, you're down. And breathe out, you're up. And here's the arms hovered. And the breathing is, I would say, 65% of it. Get a little closer here. If you're in bridge pose, you're doing. So it's very slow. There's a big opportunity to be in the elevated position for a while as you're taking that long exhale. Be on your own breath. Let's do one more and hold it at the top. And come back down. Good, bring your knees into your chest, but not together. Notice how that feels to your lumbar region as it gets a chance to press downward. So I'm going to drop both of my knees to one side, stack one on top of the other. Make my arms open into a T. Likely the back shoulder may not touch. The opposite shoulder from the direction your knees are going may not touch the floor. However, I saw a young lady last week and she did that rather easily. So just a nice easy breath. It's not a big twist, it's just a relax. What's important is how you come out of this. So lift the top leg first. As you roll towards your back, then lift the second leg. All right, you can keep dropping over the other way. Let me scoot so I don't run into the wall. You drop your knees down. Your arms are open in a T. Accommodate in any way that your body feels it needs to. Again, this should not hurt. It should just feel maybe a little bit around the hips, little bit the anterior of the shoulder. Very gentle twist, passively supported. Hanging out with your breath. Lift the top leg first. Move to your back. Now decide, how would you like to spend your last few moments of Shavasana? Would you like to stay on your back? Would you like your knees bent? Do you want to put anything underneath or over the top of you? Maybe you want to lay on your side. You won't be going back to sleep. You're just going to take a little bit. So you just have a few moments of quiet here. And as you're slowing your breath to become present to this moment, really surrender yourself. Nothing expected, nothing required. Become an empty vessel And allow this time to just take in the experience that you had today. There could be some little nuggets in there that help progress your practice of yoga. And you can just stay right where you are a few minutes longer. So as we make our way through the month of September, noticing the changing in the seasons, here are our thoughts. We know what happens to people who stay in the middle of the road. They get run over. If one person we care about believes passionately in one side of an issue and another believes passionately in the other side, is it our role to be somewhere in the middle? Somewhere we think we won't upset anyone? There are times when the middle of the road looks good as any place else to stand. But often we have strong feelings as well, and it's okay to express our beliefs, even if this might upset someone we care about. If we don't take a stand, we risk upsetting everyone. So, thought for today in these unsettled times, I don't want to play it safe all the time. Playing it safe can be riskier than following my feelings. So as we all come to kind of figure out how we're parsing our feelings and our reactions to things, be authentic to yourself. We shouldn't have to stifle, but we can always approach things with civility and be the example that we'd like to see going forward. That said, come on up to a seated position. So we sit in our body anew, learning how to mess with the chair. Open the arms to the side, let them rise, join the palms together, and then with the hands at the heart, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Go enjoy the rest of your day, whatever that